Welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car, but safer. I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always, even though clearly if you're listening to this, you hear there's something weird about our audio, but they're still here, my fabulous co-hosts.
Hey Rob, it's me, Diana.
Hey, it's me, Jackie.
I think one of the challenges, Jackie, with your singing your name is it makes Diana's "Hey, it's me, Diana" just sound less low energy every time because you're bringing all the energy. And Diana, you're excited to be here because where are we right now, Diana? We're not recording in the studio.
No, that's right. We're at the Thompson Center for Autism conference in beautiful St. Charles, Missouri, which is outside of St. Louis.
Yes, we're big fans of St. Charles, Missouri. It is a fabulous area. It's a great conference center here.
It's actually really cute.
Conference, and they have a great little main street. We love it. And we're from New England, so like we know a touristy main street. You know,
that's right.
And this one impresses us.
We know some picaresque Americana.
That's right.
Yep.
One thing I love about is there's a lot of witchcraft stores, like herbs and crystals.
Yeah, there
a lot of crystals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cookie and ice cream shops.
I think they do a big Halloween here.
Yep, good vegan cafe. Art abound.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But this is not a travel podcast. This is the podcast about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research. And this is I was about to say June, but it is not June. It is our October 2023 preview episode in which we talk about all the episodes coming out on our feed this month. But we are recording this.
True.
We are recording this. It's true. It's a fact, folks. We are recording this live, for us at least. You're getting this a little bit later from St. Charles, Missouri. We just wrapped up the second day at the Thompson Center for Autism 2023 conference. We had a lot of fun. We did our talk earlier this morning, and we have just had
Probably the highlight of everyone's conference-going experience, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, of course it was. We all know that. And then we had just kind of a nice dinner, and we're recording our preview episode for folks. So if you're listening on our Patreon feed, this is the end of September. If you're listening on the main feed, you are getting this right at the beginning of October, and we're going to talk about all the things coming out this month, as well as a few other tidbits and whatnot. I guess travel advice, which is if you get to St. Charles, Missouri, and you get to the Thompson Center for Autism Conference, when that's done, check out the main street of St. Charles. You got a little art show. It was very adorable. We had a fabulous time walking up and down there. But anyway, let's get to the meat of the episode. Diana, what's coming out this month on ABA Inside Track?
Okay, so we have 3 episodes prepared for you, our listeners, for this month. The first of them is titled Improving Your Parent Training Practices. We haven't had an episode that was really dedicated specifically to parent training since way back in episode 19. It's been a while.
Dear God, that is a long
It seems time to do that.
ago.
So there's a few articles we wanted to review related to this topic. The first is titled Parent Implemented Behavioral Skills Training of Social Skills by Dogan, King, Fischetti, Lake, Matthews, and Warzak, and that was published in JABA 2017. We will also be discussing the problem of parental non-adherence in clinical behavior analysis. Effective treatment is not enough. That's by Allen and Warzak, also published in JABA back in 2000. Then, effectiveness of parent-led ABA in improving outcomes for parents of autistic children by Sneed and Samuelson. That was published in the Journal of Social, Behavioral, and Health Sciences 2022. And finally, teaching future school personnel to train parents to implement explicit instruction interventions by Kupsik and Lebrot, published in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2021. So that's happening.
Exciting.
Yes. And then we have 2 episodes that feature special guests. Very exciting. The first of those is titled Scope of Comfort. And we're going to have Landria Green join us to talk about that.
I want to say something about that one.
Oh, sure.
I just want listeners to know that that is the pep talk that you never knew you needed. So it was, we met with her right before school started, and I really feel that that was like the talk I needed to move forward in my life. Like, I felt so enlightened, and I learned so much from that conversation. So
she was awesome.
It was amazing. And so if you're like, I need a behavior analytic pep talk, listen to that episode.
Okay. Very good.
I was disappointed because I forgot what podcast I was on. I thought I was going to learn about quilting and making a comfortable quilt. And Landria came on and talked about all these really fascinating behavior analytic facts. I wasn't ready for them. So, oh well. I'm being silly.
You know what,
we had a great episode. We had a great time talking with Landria.
Don't squeeze a Charmin.
Oh. But unfortunately, folks, we learn a lot about scope of comfort, scope of confidence, scope of competence. I don't think we talked about quilts at all, though. So that's the only knock I can have on that episode.
We talked about pajamas, though.
Oh, okay. That's true. We did talk about pajamas.
Okay. So to inform that episode, Landria provided us with a blog post that she wrote titled Centering Consumers in ABA and Why Graduations Send the Wrong Message.
I love that post. Folks, you can get that online. It's right there for you.
We also reviewed a call of discussion about scope of competence and behavior analysis by Broadhead, Quigley, and Wilczynski, published in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2018. And the Lancet Commission on the Future of Care and Clinical Research in Autism by, for this purpose, I'm just going to say Lord et al., because this article has
so much.
About 800
maybe 40 authors. And that was published in the Lancet 2022.
Cool.
Next up, in our October run, we have Celeration Charts Explained.
Wow.
The podcast that you didn't know you needed, but you definitely do. And we were very excited to be joined by Jared Van, who knows a ton about this area and is here to explain it to us all.
Well, he's not here now. He's here on the podcast episode.
He's on that episode. Yeah, not tonight, no. And so we actually went back in time for these episodes. So we have several articles that are great to review if you need a refresher or a primer on Celeration charts. They include Behavioral Fluency, Evolution of a New Paradigm. That was by Binder, published in the Behavior Analyst, 1996. Can This Marriage Be Saved? Self-Management of Destructive Inners by Cooper. Yes, that Cooper.
Everyone needs to read that article. Woo!
Published in the Journal of Precision Teaching, 1991. And Precision Teaching by Teachers for Children. That was written by Ogden Lindsley and published in Teaching Exceptional Children, 1990. And that wraps it up for October, except that when you're listening to this, we will be prepping for Babbitt.
Yay!
We didn't talk about it.
Oh, well, of course we didn't talk about it because it hadn't happened yet, so we're getting ready for it.
Getting ready.
We're actually getting ready for 2 conferences right now.
That's right.
Right, we're getting ready to attend Babbitt, and we're also getting ready to we're attending 2 conferences in the next few bits. We're attending Babbitt, and we're also attending the Stone Soup Conference, which is online, which we have loved for many, many years as well. I think
they have a great lineup.
They absolutely do have a great lineup. And if you can't find yourself that you're going, like you can't go somewhere, man, online, that's an excellent online conference.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, man, it is conference season.
Let me tell you. Conference season.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about what we are doing on the show, let's move into errata, and we'll talk about kind of everything else not related to what's coming out this month.
I'm sorry.
No. You know what? We do it all over the place. It's fine.
I thought that was supposed to go in the Shooting the Breeze section at the beginning of the show.
Oh, no, that would be like I'm playing, Zelda. I think that would be a Shooting the Breeze. Are you playing Zelda right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't put that in this section because you're not playing Zelda.
No.
So we've got conferences galore. So the Babbitt conference is coming up later this month. So
and we're doing a trivia night Wednesday night from 7 to 9 at the Mercantile in Worcester. So if you go to Babbitt, that is a free event for you. You just need to register. We're going to have a lot of fun games.
Good times.
We think they're fun, so...
No, everyone will think they're fun.
If you're a member of Vermont ABA, we're going to be doing a bonus talk for their members coming up in October. And then the Stone Soup Conference,
it's
like we said.
October 20th.
October 20th, it's online. I remember last year the discussion board that was ongoing during that talk was hot. Yes. Yeah. It was great. was a really active group. And great speakers, like I said.
So lots of opportunities, some of which we will be present at and doing something, some of them at which we'll just kind of be there. So if you see our names in the, you can say hi. But I think let's talk also, because we're here, like we said at the beginning, we're here at the Thompson Center for Autism. And we finished our talk this morning on why don't behavior analysts study school attendance problems, the case of school refusal. It was our talk, sort of riffing on sort of Fryman and Wilson and Kelly's Why Don't Behavior Analysts Study Emotions. We thought it was great. We had a great time. Surveys have not gone out yet, so we can't quantify whether everyone agreed with that statement. But nobody seemed to storm out in anger, and we had some great conversations with folks afterwards.
Yeah,
so we will assume it was great. And if you were not here and you said, I'd really love to hear what that talk was, well, you will, like in the summertime when we'll probably put that out as a bonus episode. So someday you will get to hear that talk. I think the audio went good, but yeah, we had a great time talking about that. I think one of the fun things about when we do talks versus podcast episodes is we have a general idea of what we're going to talk about. You know, we have our slides and our presentations, but there's always something, and I was talking about Diana with this, and actually I don't think I talked to you about this. There's always something that's so exciting, even after all these years of doing the show with each other, when we're doing something live and one of us gets up and is going to present, and we know the topic, we know the general notes, but just getting to see one another present information is still very exciting. Even in watching Jackie talk about, we talked about treatment, we talked about assessment, we talked about kind of big picture of behavior analysis's role in school systems, and just sort of hearing Jackie and Diana talk, even though I knew what the content was, the way they just put spin on it is still so exciting to get new ideas. So I just wanted to gush a little bit about how much fun it is to still do these kinds of things with y'all, even though we've done 250 plus episodes where we've got to listen to each other talk for long periods of time.
It is really exciting. Yeah, I was learning a lot.
This is time you say the same thing about me.
I was
saying
the same thing.
Yeah, I did say that same thing.
I know.
You sounded very smart, Rob.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's hard to do. I mean, as listeners might know, it's a challenge, you know, but we've made it this far. So big thanks to the Thompson Center for letting us, like we begged to come, like inviting us to come back.
I kind of beg.
I
beg every year.
Do we beg a little bit? Like, come on, you know, we're good for it. We have a talk, I swear. But this was great. Also, again, with so many great conferences, so many great organizations, but this is definitely one where I know I kind of sat down and we had a lot of great former guests on the show, just amazing speakers. So, Dr. Sun Wukong was here, Dr. Camille Kolu was here.
That was an amazing talk.
Dr. Dorothea Lerman was here.
Cool.
And again, some of these are folks that we've either, seen in previous presentations or had on the show, and it is just so exciting to kind of hear where the research is going, even since the last time we talked, if it was on the same subject, so it was like, almost for us, it was like a bonus episode to talks we've had before with them on their research. So again, very exciting to see where things are going. I know I got to see a couple talks that, for folks that I had, heard of, but not gotten to see their research before. Dr. Robin Parks-Ennis and Dr. Mary Rose Salesi talked about current trends in social emotional learning, which I was super excited to go see. And then the last talk I got to go to today was Dr. Rose Mason talking about a kind of a coaching BST program called Para Impact that she's currently using to train special education teachers to train paraprofessionals, which is very needed. So again, very exciting. We were a student, a doctoral student. John came up to us, John Augustine, yes. Came up to us and thanked us because he had done a poster session and done one of our bonus episodes. We'd interviewed him way back when he was still an undergrad student, and so he was bringing us up to speed on the research that he was doing, I believe, actually with Dr. Mason in the School of Education here at University of Missouri. And so it was very exciting to kind of have a student who had come up who was sort of further on in their career, and then fortunately had another poster. So keep your eye out in the feed because we're going to have another bonus episode at some point where we do sort of some poster interviews, because we saw a lot of really exciting posters on education. We had one on fMRI studies that we usually don't do those on the show, but we thought, hey, it was so fascinating, we wanted to talk about it. So keep an eye on the feed, you'll get to hear that. But when you hear John, he's a previous bonus episode poster presenter. So it's very cool to get to hear him again at a different point in his career. one of the exciting things about going to conferences so many times is you get to see so many folks over the time. So we've had a great time here. Did anyone have any other? Yeah, I didn't go into too much detail, but I know, Jackie, you were saying Dr. Kolu's talk, you really enjoyed that. I think we all really enjoyed that.
I really loved seeing, it was about buffers and barriers to trauma-informed care, and I think I got a lot of good resources that I'm excited to delve into that I hadn't heard of before. So that's exciting for me, because that's something that I'm always trying to learn more about and hopefully do better.
It's always great when people have very interesting research that they're conducting, and they are clearly very good at presenting in a way that's entertaining for the audience, and she was the perfect cross between those two areas.
Yeah.
It was a great talk.
Yes.
Really, really good talk.
We also heard Dr. Jedika Agarwal this afternoon talk about cultural care, and that was an excellent talk too.
Great.
Yeah, I learned a lot about that one too. I took some snapshots of the PowerPoints. I was that girl.
I did too.
Yeah, I usually am not that girl, but I was like, ooh, I want to look at that later. I can't see it because my eyes are bad. So that was exciting.
Yeah, I think the only downside was a lot of folks had great QR codes for resources, but I was sitting too far back and my camera couldn't pick them up, and so I had to walk to the front. But it's minor. That's my only quibble.
You were that guy.
I was that guy. I was trying to be cool in the back, and then my QR code reader did not work. Oh well. But a lot of the slides are available for folks who came to the conference, and if you didn't, there'll be another one next year, right?
Yeah, you should plan to come. It's really good.
I know.
It's a great conference.
We have a great
it's
time.
for educators, BCBAs, and parents as well. It's like a real mix of folks who come to this conference. A lot of varied professionals and people who are interested in the field.
Yeah, I think that is the nice, if you've only ever been to like maybe just your local conference, sometimes it's nice to be able to, if you have the means or the time to go to a conference in another area, because it's just really great to see how the focus can change. And all of a sudden you could be seeing a bunch of talks that you never thought of before, and really get a different perspective on the field as a whole. It's very exciting.
And they feed you well. I know I've mentioned that before.
Yes.
But yeah, the food is just nonstop and delicious.
They're passing hors d'oeuvres during the talks. It's really amazing.
No.
No, not that much.
That would be the only thing left to do, though.
That's the only addition.
It's full-size candy bars, people.
Oh yes.
And Cadbury.
So
there was
good.
Cadbury.
Cadbury?
Yeah. I showed it. I showed you.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You did.
Yeah,
I forgot. It's caramello.
Yeah, it's caramel, but it's made by Cadbury.
Nice. All right, so we've had a great time here. We're still here. We haven't left yet as we're recording this. When you're hearing this, we will hopefully be safely home back in Massachusetts. We also, for folks who are getting this on the Patreon feed, you can go right now, if you haven't seen, go to the Patreon page and get access to the poll for our fall 2023 listener choice poll. If you're getting this on the free feed, the poll has been closed. Hopefully you were checking our social media posts and you saw that it was up and you said, you know what, I'd love to vote, because the only people who get to vote on listener choice episodes are folks who are also joining us on Patreon. So if that's not for you, that's okay. You'll still get to hear the episode, but you won't get a chance to have voted on it. You won't get the free CE that comes with it. Again, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track. So keep an eye on your social media feed. We'll do another one in the winter. But for folks who haven't voted, or for folks who are now sad that they didn't get to vote, let's hear about what our topics are for this month. So we had 4 topics this month, because I'll start with it. Direct instruction. We're not getting enough votes for it. And at this point, I think it's just the joke. We're just going to put it on every single poll, either until enough people vote for it, or until we just get tired and throw it in as its own episode. So that is just a constant from here on out until somebody picks it. I almost stubbornly don't want to do it as an episode until it is voted in the listener choice. At some point, enough listeners will take pity on direct instruction as a topic and throw it in. Sadly, we also have 3 other really good topic choices. So I don't know if this is the month for direct instruction. So we're also options.
Don't sway the vote.
I'm not going to sway the vote. I'm going to say these are some choices. Some other options that we have are reinforcer sampling. Dinah, you'd asked if we could do reinforcer sampling.
Yeah.
But I hadn't asked why you wanted to do reinforcer sampling.
I just think it's an interesting topic that doesn't actually have a lot of research surrounding it. but is definitely part of our field and something that we partake in, or else we should be partaking in. And I just like it.
Okay. Well, it's on there as the poll. Again, if you're getting this at the end of September on the Patreon feed, quick go vote. If you're getting this in October, we'll already be able to tell you, I guess, later on which one won. We don't know at the time of this recording.
I also really love Whitman's samplers, and it reminds me of that.
Okay, I don't know. Should we buy one? If that wins, you know what? I'm gonna say it right here. If that wins, I'm gonna buy Diana a Whitman sampler for us to eat while we record the podcast.
I like that.
So you'll know this because it'll be in your feed, and we'll make a lot of mouth sounds. It'll be a really great recording. Another topic that we put on the poll was how to appropriately terminate services. I think we've sort of talked about this, and we talked a little bit about it with Landria Green in the Scope of Comfort episode coming out this month.
Which is why I wanted to think about it more.
Yeah, but it's one that I think we mentioned it, we brought it up, but at the end of the day, we didn't get into a ton of detail about the actual steps involved, and there have been a couple publications recently on that, so we thought that would be a good one to discuss, and we'll see if listeners agree. And then the final topic, I sort of generally called ABAing around the globe. There have been a number in BAP recently. There have been a number of articles published online first on looking at the generality of a number of different treatments and procedures from various other countries. I think, Japan, I believe Austria, and it had been a while since we'd really talked about sort of generalization at the global scale. And it was something that we did talk about today when we did our talk on school attendance problems. And it really was sort of forefront of my mind of, we're a very U.S.-centered podcast, and that's where we live and work. And I think sometimes it's nice to think about, do some of these treatments, are they universal in all aspects of them across the globe? So since we had some publications from some researchers from outside of the United States, it seemed like a great time to sort of do that review. So 4 options, 4 things to choose from. Again, if you're getting this at the beginning of October, I think we've already heard from the listeners, so you'll just get to see the results.
Vote with your heart.
And if you're saying, I would have voted for this, I wish it had won. Well, again, patreon.com/ABA Just saying, for the winter time. So those are our options for the listener choice, but you'll know which one it is relatively soon if you're getting this at the beginning of October. All right. Finally, I think we've covered almost all the exciting news, but let's check and see if we have anything in the old mailbag today.
Mailbag. So I've got some things in the mailbag to pull out because I am like Steve from Blue's Clues.
We
just got a letter.
Oh, no, that's the song, yeah.
So, that's right. We just got a letter. Mm-hmm. A little bit about
I wonder who it's from.
It's from listener Danielle, and she says that she's a longtime listener and really appreciates the content. And I wanted to ask a question about our business for the podcast because she's a BCBA and her husband has a master's T. I don't know what that is. An MFT. Master's in Finance, maybe, and I don't know what an MFT is. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. And
Firearms and tobacco?
Yes.
That's ATF.
He has a master's in firearms and tobacco. Just kidding. I don't know what an MFT is. And they're working towards opening a side practice together, but they don't want to be in conflict with Ethics Code 1.11, multiple relationships.
Sure.
And so, when she was looking it up, they were talking about clients and supervisees, but she wondered about the code when it says colleagues.
Very responsible of her.
Yes, very. So she asked, how do we do it? Because we are in we're doing this podcast together. And so I wrote back to her and I told her that we have a business plan that is an outline that outlines what each of us are supposed to be doing in our business relationship. And each of our scopes have been organized to what we're doing. And the conflict of interest in multiple relationships and glossary really have to do with that power dynamic, and so neither of any of us, right, are not the bosses. Mm-hmm. So that was one way that we can do this. So as long as her and her husband are not bosses, then if they're both co-owners and not one of them is a boss over the other one, it should be fine. But it also, if he's not a behavior analyst, which I don't think an MFT is, then he doesn't apply to the ethics code. So, yeah. So that's what I said.
But
So
even among friends, you should set up a business plan.
Yes.
Yes.
And have those conversations ahead of time.
Yes.
Because just because you're friends doesn't mean that everything will always be easy and you won't have to have some like negotiation talks.
Oh yeah, we have to have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be friends with people that you're business partners with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like when you give feedback, it's great when you have a very, objective set of guidelines you're following and everyone knows what they are, because it's very hard to get upset with feedback where you're like, I'm going down the checklist of things. You did this great, this great, this great. Here's an area to work at. People don't usually get upset when they know what the expectation is. They know what they are or not supposed to have done. Same thing with business. If it's written down, it's really hard to get too upset or to take it personally because everyone agreed upon it. They know what the expectations are. Yes, but don't just assume.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't just assume because you have a good relationship that things might not change in a way that you then run afoul of ethical violations or just, personal hurts. You just have to treat it like it is, objective.
Great. That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks for writing in.
What an exciting email. I feel it's like kind of a first for...
No, we've had some.
Oh, okay.
I
don't know.
don't usually talk about the ethics ones. But I thought
Well, I meant in terms of the business relationship.
Oh, that was our first business relationship question, but we do get a lot of ethics discussion.
But we can't provide any client or clinical recommendations.
No.
Sometimes we get those, but we cannot.
And I appreciate that anyone would think we have great business advice to share as well. All right. Well, thanks for writing in. And, thanks. Again, we don't have emails from it, but we did get a lot of nice hellos from folks here at the conference. So, again, if you ever see us on the street, feel free to come by and say hi if you're a listener. We swear it will never get old. We will never be too cool to say thank you very much for listening to the show.
Absolutely not. I think our listeners are far cooler than we are.
Same.
So, yeah.
100%.
Totally same.
All right, and with that big thank you to our listeners, I think it's time to wrap up this October 2023 preview. We've got a lot of episodes coming out, a lot of activities in real life that will be happening, and then, of course, we'll have that listener choice episode coming out next month, so you'll have to tune in to see what won. We'll have posted it as well, though. And I guess with that, it brings us to the end of our preview. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with the first of those fun-filled episodes. But until then, keep responding. Bye.
Bye.